It was a clever weaving of a story, of a science fiction story, into our culture. I thought it was a brilliant. Yeah. The rest of it, no. When they're fighting each other.
Yeah, it's
I'm Optimus Prime. No, I'm not doing that.
It's ridiculous.
No, and then your sports car on the side. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Fuck out of here. I love a good alien movie though. I think my favorite is John Carpenter's The Thing. That was a good one.
I gotta go back.
That's
check
one
that
where
one out.
it had crashed into Antarctica or something like that,
Uh-huh.
frozen forever, and then they discovered it. They were like digging in, and they found this thing, and then it came out, and it would transform and become like an identical copy of whatever it touched. You don't remember that one?
No, I don't think I saw. No, I didn't see that. But I do know what came. The Blob, I thought, was a very creative alien. That one didn't have a mouth, or legs, or arms, or teeth, or eyes, or stomach, or that. And it could go through the air conditioning ducts. It could ooze under the door. You couldn't avoid it. And what people forget about the Blob is that when it first landed, it was completely transparent. After it ate its first victim, only then was it red. It was red for the whole rest of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't really remember that movie much.
Yeah, it's Steve McQueen in one of his first films.
Was it really?
Yeah, Steve McQueen is in it.
Steve McQueen was in The Blob?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I look at what we're doing with human beings, and the replacing people's knees and replacing people's hips and artificial this and artificial that, and then with CRISPR and genetic engineering, I think it's a matter of time before we are some sort of symbiotic thing, or partially created by whatever technology is available at the time, whether it's 100 years from now or 500 years from now, something that's going to be superior, that's not going to provide us with all the problems.
It's already happened. You just don't think about it that way.
With your phone and your glasses.
No. Even before that. We are symbiotic with chemistry. You're living twice as long. Better living through chemistry.
Sure.
Okay, we control your cholesterol, your inflammation, we know how to reduce the chance of stroke. So you're thinking very narrow on this. So I need a new kneecap, or I need a new this. The fact is, science and technology has already been infused in the human condition in a way that, for example, has doubled our life expectancy within the last 150 years. So it's already happening chemically. So now you want to do it mechanically, because that requires material science, and that's a much later field than chemistry was developed in order to contribute to what our lives are. Now you want to get into our DNA. That's just the next level. Okay? Now, are we going to have some internet infused in our heads? I don't think so.
But that's what Elon's working on.
I don't think. Why would you do that when the entire internet is in your palm of your hand?
Because
your smartphone?
You have to touch that stupid thing. You might drop it.
What you're saying is, I don't want to touch this. Yes, open up my skull and put in an internet transmitter.
Yeah.
That's better.
But it makes you smarter.
So does the smartphone.
No. But much smarter. What he's saying is it's going to increase the bandwidth that you have to access information. You're going to be able to access information quicker, because it's not going to go through all these...
Okay, so people can do stupid things quicker in the face of information that they think is correct.
One of the things that Elon said to me is people will no longer have to talk with words. You're not going to have to speak with your mind.
Look at what people are doing with the information they currently have. They don't even know what is true.
Some people.
Now you want to accelerate that by a factor of 1,000.
Yes, maybe they'll learn.
That is the missing chapter in the apocalypse in the Bible. Okay?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the cure. Maybe when people are acutely aware of what they actually know.
Don't equate knowledge with wisdom.
Well, maybe
it's not the same thing.
Wisdom.
I don't find wisdom on the internet. I find knowledge.
You can find some wisdom. You gotta go to the right people. You gotta go to the correct meme pages.
No, okay, but but you gotta plow through the knowledge. Some of which, much of it, maybe most of which, is false. That's a problem.
But occasionally you get nuggets of wisdom.
Yes.
Want to see a nugget of wisdom?
You got one?
I'll show you.
Show me. You got one now?
I'll send it to Jamie, and Jamie, you'll put this up.
Okay.
This is a piece of...
By the way, I'm all in for wisdom.
I bet you are.
Okay. Because when you look at the arc of, there's in science, you want to convert data to sort of facts, and facts into knowledge, knowledge into insight, and then ultimately insight into wisdom.
And that wisdom will help you make better choices.
Yes.
And help you understand the world you're living in.
Correct. Correct. That's what it is. So you got
wisdom. Just so you know, this is the guy calling you a Nazi on the internet.
Okay.
So now that you feel better about like digging into your Twitter.
That's just a later version of that very first comic in the New Yorker when the internet came up. And there are two dogs on a computer, and one dog turns to the other. The good thing about the internet is no one knows you're a dog. That was like 1991 or
Was it
something.
really?
Yeah, it was very early. Very early.
Wow,
You can probably find it.
91?
Yeah, have them bring it up.
Wow.
No one knows you're a dog. You should go straight to it.
That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. And so I've been thinking that the entire time. There it is.
Oh,
Put it up.
wow.
On the internet, nobody knows you're a dog.
What year is that from? Does it say, Jamie?
Oh, it's got its own webpage, wiki page.
93. Wow.
Yeah, very early. I said 91. It says 93 from the New Yorker. Yeah.
What year were you on?
Oh, I'm a scientist, so I
You were
went
on
from
the
19.
80s.
I was programming computers in high school, and I'm graduating class of 1976, so I'm an old fart. But we had, very large, clumsy computers, but I was programming them. I had my first email account in 1980, 1981.
Wow.
Yeah.
1980. That's
Yeah, but you can only
crazy.
talk to other scientists. I mean, who else? You're
Still.
not sending email to your grandmother in 1980.
Did you anticipate it was going to eventually be public?
Oh yeah, I saw the trends. I didn't anticipate that everyone would agree to put all the world's knowledge on it. I thought it'd be very selective knowledge. But the idea that Wiki works at all is astonishing.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy fact. And I'm happy to boast, my field has very excellent wiki pages on Pluto, on planets, on black holes, a lot of us are really good educators, and we know they're not just textbook pages, they're really informative. So, and there's very little misinformation on it. So, I'm very happy about
That's
that.
extraordinary. How do they filter that? How do they make sure that misinformation doesn't get...
So, I hate to name drop again, but I had one of the founders of Wiki in my office, and he wanted to know, what does he do about people who are pirating pages? Because back then, anyone could edit any page at all.
Oh, right.
All right? And they now have they can close a page, has to be reviewed, but that violates the spirit of the wiki concept. Because you don't know if the person who wants to edit it has more insight than everybody else who even wrote the page.
Right.
You don't know that in advance. What, are you going to interview them? No, that's not realistic. So I thought I had a really good idea, but it didn't take.
What was your good idea?
You have an edit index for every article. And so the edit index it tells you two things. The rate that people have made changes to that page. One dimension of information. Another one is it an in situ edit or is it additive? That's important. Because if there's some celebrity who dies, you'll edit the page by adding a paragraph, though they died in their sleep or whatever. So that's editing, but that doesn't put the content at risk if you're just adding information. So if I know that a page has been edited 40 times in the last 3 days,
Malarkey.
then the likelihood that information is objectively true is very low. And so when you're doing a book report or any kind of report and you're citing wiki pages, you would have a side index that tells you this page is rife with conflicting and contested edits. Now that I know that, here's what they said. Whereas other pages that are stable, I think we have a good right to say this contains objectively true information, and you would be able to make the judgment yourself. And it'd be easy to track that on a computer with all the edits. So, and you'll know did someone just correct spelling. You know, you give the nature of what the edit is. And I thought that research is, if you don't know what the answer is, let's at least know how controversial the information is.
This brings up an interesting point, because one of the things that we're talking about when it comes to technology, we're talking about improvements in the way the human brain works with a symbiotic relationship to whatever Neuralink or whatever new technology is invented.
Oh, that's what he wants. Yeah, Neuralink. Yeah,
that's what he wants. What would be great is if we knew what was true.
However crazy I think that idea is, I'm not going to stop him.
You're not going to stop him.
No, I don't want to, because
you're not going to stop him.
You need a little bit of crazy.
You do.
To move the center mass of society in new directions. So
that dude's got a lot of crazy.
So I'm an Elon fan. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. He's gonna do it.
No, well,
I'm gonna probably get a hole in my head and stick it in there. Let's see what's up. But I'm gonna be a late adopter. I'm gonna be like Gen 4. I didn't buy a Tesla until like 2 years ago.
Really? Oh no.
Yeah.
No, I was never
Yeah, they had them many years before.
Yeah, the Roadster was first out.
Yeah, a little Lotus Elise clone.
I couldn't fit in it, so I couldn't.
Oh,
I hit my head. I can't. Yeah. My shoulder went across the midplane of the seat, so I had to be there with a small other human. But two of me wouldn't be able to fit in the front seat without being very snuggly at the deltoid.
If we could come to a point where technology could eliminate deception, how much more information could be shared? How much more could we understand?
But what I don't know is, if we cannot eliminate deception